Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel Mayday Sun Gaming, and today I just decided to make a video because I recently made a poll. I know a lot of you have been seeing the polls and you're not subscribed to the channel, you're seeing the polls. Thank you, YouTube algorithm. About CQB attachments in Airsoft. And I had a really good discussion with some of the commenters, and I just wanted to make a video about what are the 3 attachments that you need in Airsoft. Of course, you can run your gun stock with nothing, and you can be cool like that and just run iron sights and stuff like that. But honestly, I think these 3 attachments will really up your game completely. When I first started, I had iron sights and I played in the dark, and it was a goddamn mess. So we're gonna be talking about my MWS M4A1 to kind of give us some context about the 3 attachments that you see here. So what do you think the first one is? It is a red dot sight, and I would 100% recommend, if you could get any attachment, honestly any attachment in Airsoft, would be an iron sights. It would be an optic. And why would you get an optic? Why couldn't you just use your iron sights? Well, there are 2 reasons from my experience. One, target acquisition. Target acquisition is like 110% faster with a red dot. You can use either EOTech red dot, or you can use a tube style T1 or a reflex sight, or the Seymour. And you'll find that when you're in CQB and you just have to present your weapon really quickly, to pick up that dot really quickly, and to even get those precise shots all the way down there, right? It's really important to have a red dot sight for accuracy, for zeroing, and for target acquisition. Of course, having backup irons as well if something does go wrong, but that should come with your gun. Now, why wouldn't you want to use iron sights? And they are precise, but we're talking about BBs that don't have like ballistics and rifling. So outside, if you play outside, like it's every 4-to-1 BB, so it's not really that accurate. I guess with the red dots, the same thing. But one of the big things about irons is that the target acquisition is a lot longer. Of course, you can train with it, you know, but especially if you're like left eye dominant, right hand dominant, and then you have to like close your eye and stuff. You're closing up your eye. The eye relief is literally this tiny little peephole compared to this large viewing window of an EOTech or a red dot sight. So, you know, if you're transitioning, you just want to look at your dot. You have to really get the perfect cheek weld if you want to use the red dot. I mean the iron sights. Now, it's good to have both, because if it's super bright outside and you can't see your red dot, you can just, you know, turn on the put on the peephole, and then you'll be able to see it if you have a lower third co-witness or absolute co-witness. So red dot, 100% would recommend. Now, the second attachment would be a vertical foregrip, not an angled foregrip, and I'm gonna give you the reason why. So an angled foregrip, you know, you would hold the gun, it would make you hold it like this. Apparently it's good for like long rifles, because it's like that. But if you look at a vertical foregrip, especially the Magpul RBG style, you can do the same shit. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You don't have to, you're not locked into that one position, right? So having that pull into your shoulder, right, in this actual grip like this with a high bore, it gives you the same kind of security that an angle foregrip would do. And it's also good if you get tired, or if you need to be in a tight situation, you can broomstick it as well, right? And also when you're transitioning, you have something to hold on to. So if you do have a flashlight on here and it gets a little hard, then, you know, you can still broomstick it, or you can try and do the high bore. If you don't have this, you can high bore it. And it's good for just like awkward positions, especially if you're not comfortable transitioning. And when you do transition, that's something to hold on to when you're transitioning, yeah? Rather than this. And it also builds muscle memory, right? When you're building muscle memory for presenting your weapon and operating the safety and all that, right? You always have the right position for it, right? So you're not randomly grabbing random spots on the rail, right? High ready, you know, bringing it over, right? Or low ready, you always have it ready. Or if you're reloading, whatever, reload, you always know where to grab. When you're transitioning, you always know where to grab, right? So it's really important when you're manipulating your weapon, right? To have that consistency. So that's what the foregrip is good for, and it gives you best of both worlds. When you're getting tired, you just hold it on your chest like this, and then when you're ready to do like a long shot, you can, you know, build that muscle memory. So foregrip 100% would recommend. Now, the last attachment what I would recommend is a flashlight. Flashlights are hella important in CQB. Outside, not so much, but if you do play at a place that has some dark areas, it is super nice to have. It does give away precision, but it's also intimidation. If you saw my video on Black Fox, I don't think I actually put footage in there, but I would use the flashlight just to help my team push up and make the enemy not want to peek it. And if they did peek it, if you saw it at my attacker video, they were just blinded, right? So it's good for two things. One, identifying targets, identifying if it's your teammate or if it's the enemy, and being able to illuminate dark areas. Like, is that a person? You can illuminate it. You can kind of strobe a little bit. It's also good for blinding. So when you have that split second, when you have to peek somebody, turning on that flashlight, it'll give you that split second advantage. And I had a lot of compliments when I did play at attacker that the light was scary and enough to intimidate people. So 100% recommend a flashlight. Now, if you don't have a tracer unit, you can use the flashlight to guide your white BBs. So it's good to have that as well to see where your BBs are going. But in CQB, depending on where you are, you're mostly going to, depending on your play style, either point shoot, hip fire, follow your BBs, I guess. But if you're playing gas blowback like me, you don't want to be doing that because that's just a waste of BBs and gas. So having the red dot is good as well. Just be aware is that if you have your flashlight too bright, it's gonna affect the brightness and your eyes being able to adjust to your red dot sight. So just make sure you find the right balance between the brightness of your dot and the flashlight as well. Now, as a bonus thing, I would recommend one more attachment, which is a tracer unit. Now, a tracer unit is going to light up your BBs in CQB. When you're playing indoors, you just attach it on a counterclockwise, and it's a goddamn godsend. You'll be able to know if you need to adjust your hop, if your BBs are actually reaching. It's good for zombies that are not calling their hits because they'll see the BBs being illuminated. Helps you with tracking when you're tracking targets at longer range, and it helps you just confirm that if you're hitting things or not. And it's good for, you know, making YouTube videos as well. I would never play indoors without a tracer unit ever again. But again, it is not 100% necessary. You can use a flashlight, or you can just zero in your red dot and be blessed. Oh yeah, another thing about some of the iron sights. So if you have like a cheap airsoft gun, some of the iron sights can't be adjusted. So just be aware of that, which is why another reason to get a red dot. But that's pretty much it, guys. Of course, you can get some other accessories as well, like pistol grips and you know, what you call it, stocks. You could also get pec boxes, laser sights, all that stuff. Magnifiers. I don't recommend magnifiers, to be honest, even though I have one. But just these three attachments: red dot, foregrip, flashlight. You could even get rid of the flashlight and just go red dot, foregrip. That's all you need. And then if you can afford it, get a tracer unit. If you could, then yes, 100% get a tracer unit. But that depends on where you play. If you play outside, you don't need it, which is why I didn't include it in this list. But anyway, let me know in the comment section down below what you think the top 3 or your must-have attachments are on your airsoft gun, and let me know. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for today. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Drifter out.